Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Today's edition of Ask a Leopard Owner takes us to Moritz and Natalie on a Leopard 39 sailing catamaran. Before introducing them, I want to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Chris, and in addition to having owned a Leopard 45 myself, I get to work with members of the Leopard community, helping to share their stories of adventure, curiosity, and exploration on their Leopard. A few housekeeping items before we get started. Today's session is being recorded and will be published on leopardcatamarans.com in the coming days. In other words, don't worry about writing everything down. You'll receive an email to this video once it's published. To submit your questions at any point today, go ahead and click the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. We'll do our best to answer all of your questions, but if we run out of time, we'll share an email address at the end to submit your questions. And lastly, there's a 2-question survey that will pop up after we wrap up today. We'd love your feedback so we can learn what you liked and things that we could do better at future editions. With that out of the way, let's take a quick look at what we're going to cover. First, we'll learn about Moritz and Natalie themselves and their background and how they got to where they are today. We'll understand a bit more on why they chose a Leopard. They will share their story on what traveling the world with children is like, how they stay connected in provision, and we'll have a dedicated Q&A section at the end. So Moritz and Natalie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And please do tell us a little bit about yourself. And I see your content is linked here too, and give us a background on what folks could find on those channels.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
We're
Nice.
Natalie and Moritz, and usually we're from Germany, but we're traveling since 5 years now and 2 years on the water.
Yeah, we started our journey 2.5 years ago when we bought our catamaran in Greece. And since then, we're traveling over Greece, Italy, Spain, to the Canary Islands, back to Madeira, then Canary Islands, Gambia. What else? We did the Cape Verde and are now since almost 6-7 months here in the Caribbean.
Yes, and we're traveling with our 2 kids. They're on the beach at the moment, so it's quiet on the boat. And they are 7 years old. Our son is 7 years, and Sophie, our daughter, is 14.
Yeah, we work on board, and we also do school on board, but for that, we're going a little bit more into detail later on. We live the cruiser life since 2.5 years now, and we really enjoy it, and like to give you a little bit of insights from our perspective, and some things we find positive or negative, or what we think in perspective would be nice to have already known before we gone into our journey here.
I love it. It's all about sharing information and learning from each other. So
right.
I appreciate you all taking the time to do that. Can you give us a little bit? So I want to call out 2 things. Usually all of these episodes that we've done, and we've done quite a few, have been on newer boats or late model boats. And so I'm excited to do this one because it's a boat that has, seen some miles. You all have put some miles on it. So we'll get into that in a little bit in terms of, okay, what is it like 10 years into owning a Leopard, which will be great. But before we go off of this slide, there's an Instagram, YouTube, and then also a website that's linked here. Give folks who might not be following you now a sense of what type of content, because there's tons of sailing content on the internet. Tell us a little bit about yours and how it's different.
Thank you. Yeah, you can see on our Instagram, we just our life, how it is from day to day. So we give a little bit of insights how we're living on the boat, what we are doing, our adventures on board or also on land when we're not on the boat. It's a sailing life, family of 4, and
we have to say that we permanently live on the boat. We don't have a house anymore. So we only make day trips on shore and showing all the beautiful landscape where we are, and what are we doing with our kids, or how do we cook, or how do we manage our passages. All about sailing life.
Love it. Great. Well, tell us a little bit about, let's go into more detail on on where you've been. I see the 12,000 nautical miles text on the screen. So give us a little bit of sense of what got you there and what's coming up next.
Yeah. You done?
Yeah, we are very slow. So we don't have a ending date. We will do that so long as we want to, as we feel comfortable with, and as we can. We started in Greece. We bought our Leopard in Greece on Poros. It's a small island, and yeah, and we had no experience in the beginning, right?
Yeah, never, me and Natalie wasn't able to sail at the moment we bought a boat. So actually we've been only 3 days on a boat before with friends, and yeah, we had no experience at all. So we learned everything by our own just by doing it. And yeah, of course, in Germany, you have to do like a license, but it's only for driving under engine. So if you have like an engine more than 10 horsepower, you need to have a license, but it doesn't make any, yeah, you're not able to sail with this license. Yeah.
Yes, but you are allowed.
Yeah.
So we just jumped on the boat and practiced.
Yeah. And also that was
I have a question on this because I went through this with my Leopard 45 and this is so the question is on insurance. And my insurance company was very like, okay, let's see your resume. We're gonna need a captain to sign off to say that you can operate the boat by yourself without having, you know, a crew all the time. So it's very much a process, and this is a US based carrier operating in US waters. Sounds like you might have had a different experience, or maybe you have different insurance, or have decided to go a different route. So give me a sense on just going fresh off of land, no sailing experience, to buying a boat and getting insurance.
Actually, we had yeah, our first insurance, how you say it, yeah, after 2 months. So when we started, we parked our catamaran in a little bay in Greece, and I went to Germany to sell our camper van to this time. And Natalie and our kids stayed on the boat on a mooring, and the mooring flipped off. So the catamaran was just circling around in the bay and crashed to another boat and had a lot of scratches, no structural damages. So it was just on the outside and hull of the boat. But yeah, it was thing for the insurance. So after 2 months owning the boat, I already had to contact our insurance and say, hey, we have a little problem. We have to haul out the boat, fixing this, yeah, scratches on the sides. And yeah, they did it without any comment or anything. So I never told them that we not experienced sailors. I think there was a check mark, but I don't know.
Yeah, actually, it's definitely, it's allowed, it's legal to have a motorboat license, and you don't have to have a sailing license or something like that.
Just when you're doing like charters, then you have to have a real sailing license. But when it's your own boat, then the normal boat or motorboat license is enough.
Okay, so it sounds like different insurance scenario in the US versus everywhere else, so makes perfect sense. Okay, cool. I didn't mean to interrupt your
problem.
your flow on where to go. So
we had the small issues after the storm, and then we got fixed it. It was just really small scratches, and that showed me how much this boat can or what we can do with this boat, because it was a really hard storm, and we really hit this other boat. And
Natalie called me a day after, because I was still in Germany, and she thought the boat is completely damaged, so we have to throw it on the garbage.
Yes, I felt very bad, because I thought, oh my God, all our money is in this boat, and now I damaged it in only one night. But in the end, it went really well, and there were only a few scratches, so we got back in the water.
Yeah, we were quite confident after that to manage almost every situation with the boat.
Yeah.
maybe it was a good experience, even if it was very bad, but it gave us a lot of confidence for the next steps we did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's once you get the first scratch in the boat, I remember when I got the first scratch docking on mine, I'm like, okay, it's meant to actually be fixed. It's built to be fixed. It's fiberglass, it's not a big deal. You guys have been a lot of places, and you have some here on the list of places to go. Do any of those either crossings or destinations stand out as memorable, or a key point in your journey on living on a boat?
Yeah, I think the first crossing to Italy was exciting because it was the first bigger crossing from Greece to Italy, but everything went well.
Yeah.
So after that, the small crossings, then to Spain. Also, it was just easy. No, not to Spain. We got
to Spain. It was quite rough sea. So we had like 35, 40 knots of wind and 3 to 5 meter waves.
It was already October, November, I think, and the sea was really rough, right?
Yeah. So the crossings in the Mediterranean were more, how you say,
rough?
More rough than the bigger crossings here to the Caribbean or something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
there's a reason why they call it the milk run, right? Going from east to west. Just real quick, and then I want to shift gears in terms of why a leopard. Some folks who have joined us today, all around the world, they might be thinking about sailing their boat around the world. They might have chartered or might be thinking about chartering a boat in the Mediterranean. When is the Mediterranean sailing season? From what month to what month?
I think the best depends where you're starting. So when you're starting in Greece, you always have to look for the Meltemi, one of the strongest storms in this area. And so each location is very different. So you always have to really find a good spot up. But I think so between July and September is the best place.
It is the best. Okay.
The weather is the best. It's warm then.
But it's August. So in August, it's really, crowded at some places. Especially in Greece, we met places where it was like 50 boats in a row in a bay, and it was really not easy to find an anchorage. So if it's possible, don't go there in August.
Yeah, I see the videos on social media about some of the crowded bays there and people yelling at each other. So you had you guys bought the boat used, so you had a bunch of different options, right? You had all the other brands that are out there, Leopard. I guess tell us a little bit about the journey of maybe different boats you looked at, and ultimately how you ended up on a Leopard 39.
In the beginning, we had no idea, right?
Yeah.
Because we never sailed before. So we hopped on the boat from France, and they had a Lagoon 480.
Yeah.
380.
Oh, 380, sorry. And so I thought, okay, it's nice, so have a look on that.
Yeah. And after that, I went to, in the internet on different, platforms to look for boats. We also had a look at altogether on 4 boats, I think. And it was one Ochema. That was a really small brand, I think. I don't know if you know it, but it was 43, but it was very old and already smelled moisture inside. After like 2 hours on the boat, I didn't feel really confident that's the right boat for us. Then I had a look at Lagoon 400, and I don't know if you're familiar with the bycatch problems they have.
I've
main
seen
structural thing between the hulls, and it's broken on a lot of boats. I asked the owner before I went to the boat if the boat has the problem, and he told me no, not at all. And then I had a look at the bycatch, and it was a big crack, like 20 centimeters. And I went all the way we've been in the time in Turkey to Croatia, just to have a look on the boat, and it was crap. To fix these things, it's like 30,000 euros to spend. even more.
Yeah,
And
that was also the reason why we thought about
after that,
thinking about why a lagoon, because the furniture inside always look bad if they are a few years old, and we did not really feel comfortable with this brand then anymore.
yeah, after this experience, I also digged a little bit deeper into the forums to get a little bit more inside infos from actual owners. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went to a Facebook owners group from Leopard, and also Catamaran, basic Catamaran group. And I posted, hey, I'm looking for a catamaran good to go around the world for 5 to 6 years or even more. It has to be built quite good, shouldn't have no structural damages, and everybody was recommending Leopard for us.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, if everybody is recommending that for us, then maybe I had to look in it. And we were lucky that a German family also been in one of the groups, and they thought, hey, maybe you like to buy ours because we don't like to sell anymore. So yeah, he got in contact with me, and it was like a perfect match for us because we already had the boat we're looking for.
That's great. And that's the boat you ended up buying from the German family.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So a couple of things that I've learned just doing a handful of these and also owning a Leopard myself, because I went through a similar journey where I would go to boat shows and they all start to look the same. And the thing that stood out to me with the Leopard is how the brand came to be is it was originally boats built for charter.
Yeah, right.
And so you look at the things that you would need to build a good charter boat. Well, it needs to be durable and built well because you're going to have all sorts of people operating the boat. It needs to be easy to maintain and repair when needed because they have bases all over the world with different folks working on it. So to me, those two elements stood out. I'm like, oh, this is at its foundation, it's a charter boat. It's built with that durability and that thoughtfulness, and then they started the private yacht sales business. So that was one that really stood out to me as a piece of this. And then the other one was just the community aspect of it, which has been really great to you anchor in a bay, and if it's a Leopard that's 20 years old or 2 years old, everyone at least says hello and you start to chat a bit, which is nice.
Yeah, we meet a lot of people on our way already with the Leopard, and I never met anybody who was not happy with this Leopard actually.
Yeah.
Of course, every boat has sometimes little problems, sometimes bigger problems. So especially I had last week with the other Leopard owner who had some sail drive issues with the SD50. But that's not a Leopard, that's a Yanmar problem.
The Yanmar thing, right?
A lot of right. Have the same problems. But the community is really good, and if you need help, you find it quite easy, and everybody is helping each other.
Yeah, it's super helpful. You post an answer or a question in one of those groups, and usually within a few minutes, you have a couple solutions. Just before we started this, I said your bilge is amazingly clean. Is that still like that? And you're like, yeah, I just took that picture today, so yes, it is. So you get the award of the cleanest bilge I've ever seen.
Thank you.
But you're welcome. Tell us a little bit about the favorite features of the Leopard 39.
Yeah, it's not what you think when you look at favorite features, but it's the small things. When you really live on a boat and you have to put new cables through the whole boat or find an electric switch or something. So the main thing I like really is the detachable top. So it's all just mounted with Velcro. So to wire a new cable or something, it's really easy. You just have to take the roof off, and you can access almost every part of the boat really easily. So I met another guy who had I don't know the other brand, but he had to to cut the whole cabin out to get on the top, and then you have to disassemble the
Yeah.
half of the boat to get on one part of the boat. It's crazy. So I
Yeah.
think it's a really good job.
And the Velcro is really holding. It's not just like a Velcro and you think,
Yeah.
oh, it's a Velcro. No, it's really strong.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
never comes down or something. Really strong. Yeah, it's nice.
And also what you see in the middle picture is like each part on the boat is really well documented. So also when we got first on the boat, it was really easy to find the right bends or cables to fix something, or to just the one thing is the outlet for the toilet. So it was closed at the time we went to the boat, and I thought, oh, okay, now it's a light is lighting, but yeah, it's easy to find the right switch to
turn it off, because everything is labeled, not only in the bilge, also
all electric cables, all
totally everything, also the ropes.
Yeah.
Really everything is labeled, so you find everything really easy.
Yeah. Did yours come with the, I know that you're the second owner of it. Did yours come with the manual that has, the electrical schematic? Yeah.
60 or 70 pages of a manual, really with everything you need. Well, that's a good job. Yeah.
And also what is in the last picture, we said in the first one, our Davids, they are super, they are pure luxury because you only have to push a button. Only have to push a button to get the dinghy in the water. And if you look on other boats, they always have to really do hard work, and this is really easy. Also, kids can launch the dinghy, so that is a really great feature. And
you use it like 2 to 3, 4 times a day. So hauling out the dinghy, put it back again. And so it's also just a simple thing, but it makes life on the boat really comfortable.
If you go for grocery shopping, you just lift it up and nothing falls in the water. That's really easy.
Yeah. I would use it, I would just leave everything in the dinghy, like groceries, and then just raise it up and then just load it off of the back transom there. My only thing with that is it wakes everyone up on the boat. Like if you're trying to like do something early in the morning, which is
it's a little loud,
but
maybe
whatever, not a big deal. You hear everything anyway. So what? No, the alternative is not an option. What are some of the things that you all have done to the boat to really optimize and make it yours?
Yeah, so first thing we did was get rid of the plastic tables actually. So when we bought a boat, we thought, okay, it was a charter boat before, right? So it was made for keep everything clean, easily cleaning it. But we thought, oh, it's not like I would live here for 3 or 4 years. So just replacing the tables with the thick wood, was one part, but it makes the room much more nicer.
It feels like a home then.
It feels like a normal home. Yeah. So this was one of the parts. We also got rid of our gas. So we throw out the big Force 10 oven, what was in our kitchen in a galley. And we just put an electric oven and inside. So we also have a little bit more space to work in the galley. And we can also run everything on our batteries. So we're not really need for gas anymore. What is quite good, because when you travel a lot, each country has another adapter to fill up the gas. And that's really horrible to find this. And sometimes takes days to find the right place to fill up the gas. Or
I think when you have a US gallon, maybe it's easier, but
with
a European, it's horrible, because every land, you don't have the same in Greece and in Croatia. It's always different. So that was really always a nightmare to find a filling station.
And of course, we also, it's a 39-foot boat, so it's not a lot of space. So we have to find place on where we can get it, right? So when you see on the right picture here, we just put a plate on top of the, I don't know what you call it, Durchgang.
Yeah, when you go down,
When you go down,
to the
right?
cabins.
I think I saw it on the owner's version somewhere, or someone modified it that way, and I thought it's a good idea because it's just wasted room. So we put a plate, and now we have a printer and books, and yeah, like toys and
we
something
made it
for
on both sides. Yeah.
It's just a
Nice.
small modification, yeah, but it helps a lot, and yeah, for like things we use daily, really, and it's easy to grab them there. Yeah.
Nice. Did you end up
all-
doing a lot of the work yourself, or did you work with an outfitter to?
We did it by
Yeah, we did everything by ourselves. Yeah.
Nice. That's great. I wanted because there's a great picture of this here on the side. Tell us a little bit about the artwork. I had originally thought it was a wrap that was on the boat.
Yeah.
And you said, no, it's actually much more durable, Christian. There's a story behind why we painted this side. So give us a little bit of sense on what that is and why it's there.
Okay, so we go back to Greece to the stormy night when I hit the boat. And yeah, we have to put the boat on the hard. So we saw these scratches, what I made the night before. And we were thinking about polishing and yeah, repairing everything and putting some, actually we want to put some color on it then.
Mhm.
And we were talking and discussing, okay, what kind of color or what are we doing? And then we thought, why don't we do something very unique and just call our friend back in Germany if we can spray something on our boat. And yeah, he came just a few days later and was very excited to do this because it was the first time for him spraying a boat. So it's graffiti on our boat. We have the octopus on one side and a sea turtle on the other side.
Very cool. I love it. And I imagine you don't have to do the compound and waxing like you would do with a normal gel coat finish, which is nice. So we're gonna shift gears and talk about, staying connected for work and school. But before we dig into this, I want to grab one of the questions that Joe put in. So I'll read this verbatim and then give you all a chance to respond. So Joe says, we'd love to hear about your family life on the boat. How do you manage parenting and relationships between siblings in a limited space and in a different lifestyle? How do you spend your days? How do you homeschool your kids? They also have a 7 and 10-year-old and are looking into family cruising over the coming years.
All right. Okay, so first of all, we have to say it's not always easy.
Right.
But it's the most beautiful family life what we can imagine, I think, because we have a lot of time together. We watch our kids growing. We're traveling for 5 years now, and we can say that we don't miss a lot. Yeah, we watched our kids learning swimming, diving, reading, counting, everything. We are always here. New languages, new friends. Yeah, so we did not miss a lot, and that's really nice. But of course, it is sometimes nerve-wracking. Yeah, how do we manage all that?
Yeah, so we have like a daily routine. I'm working like 4 hours a day. So I have a part-time job in Germany and I can do everything online thanks to Starlink. But in this time, we also use the time for the kids to learn something. So we don't do the normal school things, but of course, we teach them how to read, how to do the math, how to some English, some maybe Spanish now when we're going to Colombia in the next days, weeks.
But we're not on a school schedule.
No,
so
we don't do school at all.
We do kind of, but so in the morning is our quiet time. Moritz is working and we do studying. I help the kids. And yeah, it always depends where we are. So our schedule is like when we are in Africa, we do things about the slave trade, for example, because we were in the Gambia, and this was the starting point where all the people came to the American colonies, for example, and that's what we do. This is our history lessons, exactly. And if we are doing math, for example, we try always to do it in our daily life. So what is necessary? When do I need math, or when do I need to write something, or just write a
diary?
A diary?
Diary?
Yeah, just write that. So always something what the kids get not bored and what they are interested in. For example, Sophie likes to draw, so we try to figure out different artists where she can learn something. We also call teachers if we don't have any idea, because we don't know anything. Yeah, we can get everything from the internet, or from different people, from different teachers, from different from our neighbors from other boats. They knew something what we don't know. And that's how we teach them. So we are not really on a school schedule. We are more in the interests of the kids.
And I think it's really necessary also to take the kids and also involve them in the whole cruising and experience, and not think, okay, we as the adults like to go there, so also ask the kids where they like to go, what they like to do. And also, if you meet friends, other boats with families, sometimes it's really nice to stay a longer time with together. So you also have to maybe think about, don't care about your plans anymore, and just let it flow.
Yeah.
Go with other boats, do buddy boating for a couple of weeks, months, and have a nice life.
We always try to do it so that everybody is happy. Everybody should feel happy on the boat, and it's not like we are the parents and we tell you what to do and what not. So also can talk to us and say, Mommy, I want to stay at the beach, or Mommy, can we go diving? Maybe I want to learn how to dive. And then we figure out, okay, where can we get lessons, or who knows that? And they can really talk with us, and we try to make that everybody is happy. And they also help us during our day. They get tasks like cleaning the dishes, for example. Cooking. Yeah, everybody is responsible for the family life, a good, and the boat.
Do you find that
I like it, because then they knew, okay, I'm really important in
part of the crew.
Part of the crew.
Do you find that with the age of your kids, so 7 and 10, do you find that you meet other boat families that have children similar age?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So here in the Caribbean, it's really easy. There are a lot of kids boats, a lot of cruising families, especially when there's not hurricane season. There are a lot of kids boats, so we do not have any problems to get them to keep them social.
But in the Mediterranean, or when we've been on the Canary Island, it was a little bit difficult, or more difficult, to get in touch with other families. So there are also times when you're staying as a family for 1 or 2 months completely alone, and that's also is part of the journey. And the kids and you have to,
we are not only their parents, we are also their friends.
Well, let's talk. You touched on this a little bit. Is there anything that you want to cover on this slide that we didn't already cover on the previous slide?
Let's see. I think that's
most,
I think we covered it all. So let's shift gears. You talked about meeting other families and different activities. Talk a little bit about the things that you do to stay connected, either physically to people, in-person meetups, or even even virtually or digitally?
I think the most important thing is WhatsApp because there are many groups, many WhatsApp groups. I think for every bay there is a other WhatsApp group where you can stay connected. And if you're in one WhatsApp group, you easily get access to all WhatsApp groups, or just talk to your neighbors if they have kids. Okay, are you in this WhatsApp group? Oh no, okay, I can add you. So that's really easy. So if you enter a new bay or you would like to stay longer there or whatever, and you don't know anybody and maybe you're shy just to go over, you can just write in the WhatsApp group, hey, I have 2 kids, they are 14 and 7, let's meet up at the beach. And for sure there will come a few kids. Always. Yeah. So there are always beach meetups, for example, or barbecues. And I think it was on Grenada during the summer. There are a lot of activities only for the kids. That's really nice. And yeah, then sometimes they get really close friends. So we make bodyboarding with their boat and stay together for a longer time. And yeah, that's pretty nice. And Sophie is 14 now, so she has her own phone and just can text their friends, and that's easy.
That's great. Two follow-up questions. I'm sorry, go ahead, Moritz.
There are also like apps. I think you just put them down on the presentation, like No Foreign Land and Natalie. So that are for like both families. That the 2 major apps you will use, because on No Foreign Land you can also see like other families where they are at the moment, get connected with them. And there are also groups for families, for German speaking, for English speaking, for all kind of things, for leopard owners. So it's a really nice app to use, especially for families. And also on Natalie, you can see like boats all around you or around you, and if they have kids or not, and get connected.
Yeah. And I think it's also very important to do this because kids need kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was actually one of my 2 follow-up questions was, hey, tell me about No Foreign Land and Natalie. So thank you for that. There's a question from Jim. Natalie, you mentioned you pull into a bay. One way to digitally interact is to just introduce yourself there. How do you do that? You pull into a new location. Is there a WhatsApp group for each bay or each country, or how do you do that?
Yes, so there is one large WhatsApp group for I think it's called Naughty Tech Caribbeans.
Naughty Kids.
Naughty Kids Caribbean. And
Okay.
And there you find separated groups also. But for example, now here on Curacao, there's one large group. It's called Spanish Waters, because this is the largest bay here and where the most people are staying at. And yeah, there you can just write in the WhatsApp group, hey, I'm new here, and does anybody have on board, like that. But
the
it's not
digital
for
version of Cruiser's Net. Yeah.
But it's not like in every small bay there is a WhatsApp group. No, it's a bigger in bigger bays or on a bigger area. Yeah.
Okay, makes perfect sense. Let's talk a little bit about logistics, right? Because this life would be nothing without managing things coming and going, and caring for medical needs and things like that. So I love this slide because you make it seem easier than it is. But in terms of like, I would worry about healthcare and saying, well, how am I going to do this? But you have a great point. Like, hey, there are doctors all over the world, Chris. No need to worry. But anyway, walk us through what you've learned in this space a bit.
Yeah, starting with packages. So getting parcels is really complicated sometimes when you live on a boat.
I think this is the Starlink 10-second pause.
To plan, yeah. Sometimes things break on the boat, and so you need spare parts. And if you don't get it on the local marine budget store or anywhere, then you have to order it online. And sometimes, especially in the Canary Island, it took like 8 to 10 weeks to get a parcel. Then you have to do the customs, and wow, it can get really, really complicated. And then sometimes the shop is far away, so you have to go there, find a transport to go there.
Figure out how
Yeah.
to go there. Yeah, that is also sometimes very badly. But maybe you can say how it works here on the ABCs, because this is a very, very nice thing. And I think it's the same on Grenada.
Yeah.
And maybe also on Trinidad and all these parts here.
I like to say the most easiest way is to, when you have guests or friends visiting you, then send it to them and they should bring it to you. That's the most easiest way to do it. And otherwise, for example, now here in Curacao, you have a service called eZone, where you can order parcels from the US, from anywhere in the world, actually. And they do all the import and tax service, and you can collect it right at their place. So that's really convenient.
Nice.
Easy
And
to do.
it's not expensive. It's
Yeah.
cheap.
No, it was like
but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
And you only have to wait for the parcel then, and it only was 2 weeks from the US to the ABC. So that was really nice. And you have this service on many places, I think, here in the Caribbean. It's eZone.
It's such a contrast, and to hear you say only 2 weeks, I was just ordering something on Amazon for the house.
Yeah.
And I'm able to get overnight delivery tomorrow. It'll be there at 4 a.m. Tonight. But obviously living on
You get
land
used
has
to it.
yeah, you do get used to it. You do get used to it. And I've dealt with some of that too, trying to get parts shipped in from other places, and 2 weeks is great, especially with someone else handling the customs side of it. And then from a medical care standpoint, and this is my own curiosity, so totally get doctors all over the world. But what, in terms of cost for care, do you have a global insurance plan? Do you just self-pay, or how does that work?
We have like a basic global insurance in Germany.
Okay.
So it will cover all the major injuries and something like that. But for example, when we're going just to have a health check, or to the dentist to check if we have some holes or something, then we pay it on cash. It's easier and
Cheaper in the long run. Yeah. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about provisioning. I'll give you a second for your Starlink to unfreeze.
And they said everywhere is cheap, not except the US. They said, yeah, you can go to the dentist everywhere, no problem. Yeah.
Nice.
And you can also plan it in advance. So when we're going now to Colombia, maybe we will do like going to the doctor there, because it's really cheap there to go there. Or also if we need some Crohn's or
whatever, it must be you can pay for it.
So let's talk a little bit about another important element of living on a boat, and this is provisioning. So you've been at this now for a couple of years. And I would also call it, you've done it, I think, in probably some harder places. Like I cruised up and down the East Coast, would bounce over to the Bahamas, like very simple. And there are people who buy a boat and that's all they do is that loop, or Bahamas to Florida and back, and like amazing and great. You've done it in some stunning places, and I think the trade-off is it's just harder to do some of this. So tell us some tips you've learned along the way.
So in the beginning, we just go at our grocery shopping, just normal, like in a normal house, because we got easy access to all the supermarkets in Greece. But then when we did these large crossings, we really had to think about it. And so we learned a lot about that. And how you stored all the vegetables and fruits, that they can stay fresh for a long time. For example, you cannot put apples and bananas together or tomatoes and cucumbers. That is not good, or carrots and potatoes, things like that. So you have to keep it separated, then they can stay longer fresh. That's what we learned. And also, you have to really have a look on bugs.
Yeah.
Yes, that's really a nerve-wracking thing, because we went to the Gambia first.
Was it on Gambia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when we first got bugs.
Yeah, in Gambia. So if you do the provisioning, you stay in the supermarket and you really have to have a look if there are bugs already inside
Flour.
the flour or the noodles or even the rice.
Yeah.
They can be everywhere. Also when they are packed. So not only when you get it just loose, they are in the packages. So have a look in the supermarket for bugs already. Then when you bring it to the boat, remove all the carton,
Labels from
all
the
the
cans.
labels from the cans, because the cockroaches put the eggs behind the labels. So if you store the cans for a long time somewhere in the bilge, they have a lot of time to grow. So better remove it before, then you're safe. Also, when you buy, for example, eggs, remove it from the cartons. Is it cartons in English?
From the,
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So remove that, because they can also be eggs from bugs inside, or ants, just ants. If a egg is broken, for example, and you don't see it
Mm.
at the beginning, and you just put it somewhere, the ants will be everywhere. Yeah. What else?
I think it's quite necessary also to adapt a little bit to the local things you can buy. So especially when you're here in the Caribbean, we've been to Tobago, for example, and there wasn't a lot of vegetables available.
Mhm.
And the vegetables that was available was quite expensive compared to the other things. So yeah, you try to adapt to the local food a little bit and also buy the local stuff. So that's much cheaper than to stick to your normal
What you get
diary.
used to, yeah.
No, how you call it?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
you used to eat.
Yeah.
So you really have to have an eye on it, what the locals eat. And yeah, I think that's also a very interesting part, because then you learn a lot more about their culture, and yeah, getting inspiration for new things. Yeah.
Yeah. All part of the journey, for sure. Before I talk about community, Jim had a follow-up question. He wants to know about just the international insurance piece. And then, which I know you guys said that you have. When you did the cost benefit analysis of that, so it sounds like, one, you have catastrophic coverage. So if something, terrible happens, there's coverage. But basically everything else you guys are doing self out of pocket pay, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it's an insurance. So I think we never used it, just one time when I was wakeboarding and I felt on my chest and I was spitting blood because my lungs were compressed. So we went to the hospital in Croatia and to have a health check there. And that was the only time now in the last 5 years we used it. Yeah. So when I compare what they paid us and what we what are we paying per year, it's not much. It's like 1,300 for the whole family for a year. So it's not really much. And compared to that, it's okay, but because then we are really insured for big big things if something really bad is happening, and then it can get really pricey. For example, when you get to be transported from here to back to Germany or something, that's 50,000 euros just for and it's worth to have this 1,300 and be safe, and that's
I can completely agree. Tell us a little bit about, I know a lot of the folks who are with us today are familiar or part of the leopard community already.
Yeah.
What you know, on the surface, you're like, oh, great, a bunch of people who like a brand. But you as you get inside of it and you need help or advice, or you meet, it's an instant connection point when you go to a new bay because someone has the same boat that you do. It just makes meeting new people easier. But
Yeah.
to tell us a little bit about what your experience has been now, a couple of years in, and how the community has helped.
Yeah, maybe we start with a story from our first when we first met the Leopard owner. It was back in Greece, where everything starts. We just moved to a dock, and yeah, then there came a couple just around the corner, and they said, oh, we also have a leopard and we just bought it, maybe we can have a look inside. And we said yes. And then our kids jumped out and they said, oh, you have kids? We said yes. Oh, we also have kids. And we got so good friends, so we stayed together the whole time in Greece. Then we met again in Madeira, we met again on the Canaries, and we met again here in the Caribbean. And that's just because we both have leopards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you really get easily in contact with other leopards owner. Yeah, because you have the same interests, right? And you always want to have a look at what are they doing. Maybe they did also a modification, or how do they do the storage? Yeah, how is it looks like? And it's really interesting. And yeah, and all the people are really helpful. So if you just have any question, if you can't find, I mean, everything is labeled on this boat, but if you can't find the right solution for something, you just write in the Facebook group, hey, I have a problem, does somebody knows anything? And then you will get an answer immediately. And that's really cool.
There's another knowledge in this group, so yeah, highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's been incredibly helpful for me as well. So completely agree with what you both have shared. What does the future look like? So I'm sitting here in a hotel room back in the United States, and looking at these pictures and hearing you share your story, and you guys are you're doing it, right? You started in the Mediterranean, now you're in the, just north of South America, and I saw on your list the goal is to go to the Bahamas, and so you're doing the thing that many of us dream about doing, which is awesome. So tell us a little bit about, when you think about what's next, how are you thinking about it?
So
yeah, we don't plan that much in advance, right? Because we had the experience that when we're doing it, it's not working out. So so now for the next 2 months, or for the next month, we will stay here in Curacao. And then for the next half year, we will do, yeah, like I think we will do another round in the Caribbean actually for the next year. But we don't know yet. We will see what comes. So we know in the next month we will move to Colombia and do a little bit of hiking there, get into cultural life there and learn some Spanish. But after that, we don't have any plan.
yeah.
I love it.
There's always something in our mind, but it's not really important when it happens. And we have time, and we always have to go with the wind. So in the end, the wind decides in which direction we go. But it's not really important in what time we are doing that.
Yeah.
The bigger plan is, of course, to go one time around the world, but we don't know if we do it all in one step, or just maybe selling the boat here, buying another leopard then in French Polynesia or something, and then moving ahead. We don't know.
We don't know yet. We just go with the flow.
I love it. Someone once shared in another one of these and it was really on the topic of planning and how much to plan versus how much to leave open. And the thing that stuck with me in that conversation was they said to leave room for the unexpected, right? If you have every moment planned, there are these magical things that happen when you leave it open, which is, you know, counterintuitive, you'd think, to living on a boat because logistics and all this thing, but you realize that you actually have your home with you and you have plenty of options.
Always
What
Yeah, I have a
What-
good example for that because we
Yeah.
met another family also living. Do they have a leopard? Yeah, they also have a leopard. But yeah, it doesn't make makes a story. But yeah, they had only time for 1 year, and they were traveling really fast from one place to the other, and they were saying, "Hey, our kids are not satisfied. They don't make any friends here. How are you doing it?" Yeah, and then I told them, or we told them, yeah, that's the problem. You move too fast, and they always stay just for 3 days at one bay, and then move to another one.
And they cannot get in contact or making friends, and that's why they then want to go home to stay with their friends, and that's just normal, I think. So you really need time to meet other people and to get friends with them and stay longer with them.
Yeah.
I think everybody who likes to buy a boat should also think about spending more than 5 years or even more.
It depends what you want to do.
Yeah, but 1 year on a boat is too less time.
If you want to.
Yeah, I agree. One place to consider, and I'm sure this is on your list because I think it's one of the most beautiful places, and I love going back there. But the Exumas in the Bahamas,
Okay,
are magical. There's a land and sea park in that chain called the Wadrick Wells, and it's absolutely stunning. Like I have been there the last 4 years, and I didn't go this year, but it's an amazing place. So must go to if you end up cruising through that part of the Bahamas.
Maybe we can meet up there next year.
Yes, I will meet you. I'll show you all my secret spots.
Okay.
So we've started to actually hint on a couple of these previously, but walk us through advice that you would share with people who are thinking about, you know, taking the next step and living the dream that you guys are doing.
Yeah. I think it sounds always easy, live your dream, and don't only talk about it, but it's really true. So if you really have a dream, work on it. It's not easy, really. We also have hard times here, and in the beginning we totally run out of money and had no idea how to do the financial things. So
actually we spent almost all of our money for the Leopard, and there was not even 10,000 left or 20,000.
Yes.
So we spent all of our money, our savings on the boat. So I would not recommend that for other people. Maybe save a little bit because you also need them.
There are also always coming something, but if you really have a dream, just keep on going, that it comes true. It really is. It's worth it.
And it's also easy to like people say, oh, they need to save for later. They need to have some safety when they're going off work or quitting the job. But it's very easy in these times to also do like online jobs and also working for board. So it's
and you're never too old to learn something new. I was guy, he is 50, and he said, okay, now I want to start a business. And he started it, and now he's doing something with RVs, and he's having this business now, and now he can travel all over the world. So he started, so you're never too old, I think.
I love it, inspiring. The two things that I would add is, you know, even taking a step back and say, all right, what's the worst that happens? I sell the boat in 2 years, right? Or sell the boat in a year. Like, you know, it nothing can't be undone. And then the piece that I also keep in mind is it's easier. We're all getting older, right? So it's easier at this moment to do this
Yeah.
than it is to wait and wait, because life is unpredictable. So
Mhm.
well, Natalie and Moritz, I really appreciate you both taking the time to share your story.
Thank you for
I
having
wish, yeah, I wish I was sitting across the table to have a cold beer with you after we wrap this up, but really, really appreciate it. We put Katie's email on the screen here for folks that any questions that we didn't have a chance to get to today, but calm winds and following seas, I think is the right goodbye for now. So thank you both, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you very much. See you next
Right.
Kumas.
All right. Sounds good. Bye.
Bye bye.